Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Well, here we are. It's a funny old week this week, guys, because we are back at the yard full time. So as you can see, Georgia and I, good morning. We're here together at the yard. We're not sat in our dining rooms or our living rooms anymore. So it's a bit of an old, strange week for us, but it's great to be getting back to some sort of normality. So this morning, we've got some lovely people with us. So we've got our lovely Beth up there. How are you this morning, Beth?
Hi, I'm good, thank you, Jasmin. How are you and Georgia?
I think we're pretty good, aren't we?
Yeah, so we did like a live a little while ago just to tell everyone that we were about to, do this. And I put us as feeling blissful. So
that's me.
So we are blissful today.
Blissful. That was Georgia's word of the morning. We're blissful.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Wow. Laurel, how are you this morning, lovely?
I'm okay. I'm still okay. You?
Doing okay. Yeah, we're all good. And really lovely, we've got Zoe from NGAGE joining us this morning. Morning, Zoe.
Morning. Hello, everyone.
Morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So let's kick off this morning. So one of the things we do, Zoe, on these tea and toast sessions is just to sort of set us up for the morning and let everyone know how we're feeling. We do an internal weather. So we're going to do an internal weather and see how we're all feeling. So come on then, Beth, kick us off. What's your internal weather this morning?
So my internal weather this morning, I'm feeling a bit like a choppy sea this morning. I've got my first day back at work today. So I'm feeling a little bit...
You're back at work today?
Yeah.
In the pub?
In the pub.
Oh, in the garden?
In the garden, yeah.
Are you feeling a bit apprehensive?
I think, yeah, because I've been hearing, we opened on Monday, and I've been hearing from a few of the people I work with that it's been absolutely heaving.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, well, good luck. I hope it all goes okay. Get that first shift out the way, and then it'll be like you've never been away, I reckon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let us know tomorrow how it went. Laurel, how's your internal weather this morning?
Mine's a bit cloudy, but with a little bit of sun.
Yeah.
So
I think that sunshine's going to come through later.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's what I like to hear. We can all have a little bit of clouds, but as long as there's a bit of sunshine coming through, that is really good to hear. Georgia, come on.
My internal weather. So if you imagine, like in your brain, like the most beautiful rainbow that you'd ever seen in your entire life, you get like double rainbows.
Yeah.
I'm not even just one rainbow today. I'm actually two rainbows. So that just goes to show exactly how colourful and bubbly I am.
Amazing.
On this beautiful day.
So, Zoe, I must just inform you that Georgia never has a bad weather day. This is a very strange woman. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm a storm, the clouds are here. She's always got a rainbow or this or that. She's very positive. So, I guess it's good sometimes to equal out my negative. Zoe, how are you feeling this morning?
I'd say sunshine. Sunshine.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm the same. It is, although it's a bit chilly, isn't it nice just to wake up to this sunshine we've been having this week? I think it makes all the difference.
Feels like spring.
Feels like good times are coming, and I think it's like really quite apt for this week because obviously the roadmap changed on Monday and everything's opening up a bit more. So yeah, I'm feeling good this week. I think with the sun shining, with a bit of normality resuming, it's making me feel a bit more positive and a bit more hopeful that we're slowly returning to some more sort of normal times, I guess.
Yeah, and I definitely want to give a shout out to Ronzo101 who's listening to us on Twitch. Hello, Ronzo. He's telling us that in India it is, so he said the internal weather in our region is very hot. It is like 32 degrees. So we're talking about how you feel inside. But if you feel like it's very sunny outside, maybe that's how you feel inside.
Yeah.
And Sophia, who is watching on Twitch as well, and she says cloudy with a strong chance of sunshine.
Yeah, perfect. So talking about the roadmap, I think it's really important throughout this whole spoken about COVID and because when we're talking about the news, you can't really miss what's going on in the world at the moment. That changed on Monday and things are opening up. Did you guys see on the news that they're queuing to go into pubs night on the sort of Sunday night because some of them were opening? Anyone do that? Was anyone that desperate to go and get a pint or a vodka in the pub that you wanted to queue up at midnight? No. And I don't know about you guys as well. The pictures that I saw, the lack of social distancing in these queues was quite concerning. You know, I saw a lot of things posted with Boris saying, you know, let's not blow it now. Although we're opening up, let's be sensible. And it is a bit concerning with some of the lack of social distancing. But I guess we've got to roll with it, and, you know, we'll see in a few weeks' time whether the data changes. Did anyone queue up for Primark?
No.
No, I didn't either.
Maybe
and I
next
can't.
week.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I cannot wait to go for a mooch around Primark and spend a load of money on stuff I don't need. I've really missed that over the pandemic, but not desperate enough to queue up outside at 7 in the morning.
Well, we actually had like quite an interesting conversation about this the other day, and we were saying that, like, on the flip side, I can kind of see why some people are queuing up outside Primark, because if you are from a, you know, like if you have a large family, if you're low income, like if you're only working part-time, all these things, then you might have not been able to afford to buy stuff online. So it might actually be like, oh, I need to get my underwear, I need to get my socks, I need to get, you know, everything for the year now. But then we were saying, well, it's still going to be there next week. Like, it's not going to disappear.
I guess it all depends on how desperate people were. I mean, I did see a few people on the news when they were sort of standing, you know, interviewing people in the queue, were like, we're desperate for socks, we're desperate for pants. And I guess, that's a bit different to people just wanting to go and have a mooch and whatnot. It's more of a necessity, isn't it? Because like you say, during the online shopping, there's not a sort of similar version of Primark to be able to get those cheap bits and bobs, are there?
No.
So I guess, you know, perhaps not so judgmental on the people queuing, because perhaps a lot of them were there out of more necessity than anything else. Ronzo 101's just said, what is Primark? Sorry for my ignorance. So it's just a clothing store, Ronzo. It's just a really big clothing store, but really, really reasonable prices. And it's really quite affordable for everyone. So if people who want to grab a bargain, or people who are on, you know, perhaps a tighter budget, you can go and get bits and bobs in there. And it's just sort of getting bigger and bigger, Primark, isn't it? I remember I'm a bit older than most of you. So when I was younger, it was embarrassing to go to Primark. If my mum took me into town, there's no way. If we went into Primark, I didn't want to carry the Primark bag. It was embarrassing. It was like, oh my gosh. But now I'm like, yes, I got a bargain at Primark. It's now like something we boast about. But yeah, back in the day when I was younger, I honestly, I used to have my head down with my mum in Primark. Hope I didn't see anyone I knew, because it used to be embarrassing. But how the times change.
Yeah, I mean, I used to feel that way about like charity shops. So when I was little, so my mum loves a bargain, a good bargain. Oh, she'll be talking about that for several days. So when she used to take me into charity shops when I was younger, I was a bit like, oh, you know, I don't want to wear stuff from a charity shop, or like, I don't want anyone to see me in there. But now I'm like, hey, get me in there. If I can get some like cool vintage finds. And I think it's also like a cultural thing, isn't it? Like, as things have progressed, it's more like trendy to have vintage stuff, whereas back in day, probably not as much.
But it's also the likes of like the pound shop. When I was younger, that was embarrassing. I wouldn't go in the pound shop, but now I'm in there seeing what bargains I can get. My kids can't wait to go to the pound shop. It's really changed, and I think that's a good thing. Why should we be embarrassed if we want to get things a bit cheaper? For some people, that's only their only option. So yeah, anyway, if you haven't done your Primark binge yet, maybe give it a couple of weeks. So Ronzo said, oh, all right, like we have V-Mart and Big Bazaar. They were giving huge discounts on clothes and groceries. Crazy, right? But it got shut down due to the COVID thing. But since it's election time here, it is open. Oh, interesting.
What elections have you got on at the moment, Ronzo?
Yeah, let us know what elections you've got on. I'm not really sure.
We've got our elections next month, don't we?
Yeah,
for
our
local councillors.
We were speaking about this the other day, weren't we? About how important it is to make sure we go and vote. You know, if you have concerns about the area you live in and you're not happy with things, you've got to vote and look into, you know, who you think is the right person for your area, because it's so important. It's the municipality and Lok Sabha elections. Oh.
Yeah, that's interesting. You have to tell us about that, Ronzo, because from a first glance, I wouldn't know what that necessarily means or is about. So please give us more information, because I think we'd like to find out when we
definitely. Definitely. I guess another thing that we've got to chat about this morning, because it's something that happened since we last all met, was Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, dying. It's a really sad day on Friday. I can't remember. We had a work meeting in the morning, and then I went out in the car, and on the way back, I got into the car, and the radio was on, and it was saying, breaking news: the Duke of Edinburgh has died. Now we've had many a discussion here about the royal family, and some of us are more royalist than the others, shall I say? But I think it was a sad day. But what I found really interesting, and I saw on the news this morning, BBC had 110,000 complaints about the amount of coverage that his death got on Friday. People were fuming that EastEnders was cancelled, that all their favourite programmes, and apparently on Friday, the day of his death, Channel 4 had the highest ratings of viewers they've ever had. Because, I must admit, I felt sad that he died. It's really sad. I feel sorry for the Queen. It's 73 years of marriage is a huge thing. But when we got home and tried to put something on the TV, there was nothing. It was just like every single ITV, BBC One, and obviously that really knocks some people. So what do you guys think? How did you feel saddened by it? Did you watch any of the coverage, Beth?
I think. Oh, I'm really echoing. Sorry, I won't talk so loudly. I think doing it was such a nice idea, but having it spread across so many channels, I think it was just a little bit unnecessary. Because maybe like BBC One doing it, it's like I was listening to Magic Radio, and they'd changed all of their programming because of his death, and they were playing very sad songs for that entire day. And it got me thinking, if I was the person who had died, I wouldn't want them playing loads and loads of sad songs on the day of my death. I'd want to be like, what songs do you like listening to? What were his like more upbeat things, instead of like, obviously it is very good.
I listened to Kiss Radio in my car, and literally I got in the car from picking my son up, and it was all really somber, sad songs. And if there was any sort of upbeat one, it was a real slowed down acoustic version. And that's what shocked me the most. It wasn't more about the TV coverage. It was about even the radio stations had changed their whole, like you say, program. Zoe, what did you think? Did you see any of the coverage? Did you feel it was a bit much, or was it sort of respectful?
I really just avoid the TV generally at the moment. Yeah, it escaped me. I just watch films generally now.
Because it can be quite depressing at the moment. Well, I think for the past year, every time you turn the telly on, it can really bring down your mood, can't it? Because it's all been a bit doom and gloom. So I hear what you're saying.
Do you know what? I'm going to be controversial here.
Oh.
And I need to move away from Jasmin a little bit, because I feel like she's going to get the boxing gloves out. I don't think that it required anywhere near the coverage and all the stuff that happens, because the thing is, what we've got to remember is, it's very sad when anyone dies, but the man was 99, he was very unwell, he's been knocking about for a long time, and he had a good sense, he had like a very dry sense of humor, is my understanding. He had a very like specific type of humor, and so I think that even he would be like, is this really necessary to have like the whole like everything, like blanket? So I think he probably should have had like one TV show, maybe like one little like special on one channel at one time, so people who really care about it, we could be like, right, at 6 o'clock we need to go home, watch the telly, all about Prince Phil, and then everyone else could have been like, okay, I'm going to watch my EastEnders, I'm going to watch my Hollyoaks and whatever else is on Friday nights, football, I don't know what they do, but and then everyone else could have watched that, and then that way, if you care about it that much, go ham. If you don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you actually. Like I did feel it was a little bit too much. But then they were saying on the news this morning, they said, well, people would have complained if they hadn't shown enough coverage, that the TV stations weren't being respectful enough. You're in a little bit of a no-win situation, so to speak. But yeah, it was a funny old day. It did make me feel quite, I didn't realise this was going to affect us all so much, you know. But yeah, I guess a sad one. Well, let's wait and see what happens on Saturday. Is his funeral, isn't it, at 3:00, and that's all being televised. Now I don't know if that's going to have the same thing that every channel's doing it, or I don't know. But I tell you what, I won't be watching it because I'm going to the pub on Saturday for the first time.
Yeah, but it might be on the pub TV though. It might be on the pub TV.
Oh, I'll just sit with my back to it. By the time I've had a few Prosecco's, I won't be listening to it anyway, Laurel. So, did you watch any of it, Laurel? Was you bothered?
No, I only heard about it because of Steve's Twitch stream, because of Georgia told me. And after that, I think I played Minecraft for the rest of the day and just watched YouTube, so I didn't really notice any changes. But I did hear about it the next day, going, "Missed EastEnders, I missed this, I've missed that."
I know. You see, these EastEnders fans, they can get very protective about their programme, can't they? Okay, so let's move on then. So I'm sure next week we'll talk about the funeral, won't we, and see what we all thought about that and what went on. Interesting though that Harry's come over. So Zoe, we had
oh god.
So on one of our
sessions,
we had a massive debate about the whole Harry and Meghan interview, and it got very, very heated. Because these were all sticking up for Meghan and Harry, and I was a bit like, oh, for God's sake, they're in it for the money. So that was a very big debate we had. But Meghan's not coming for the funeral because she's not allowed to.
Not allowed to.
Yeah. In a pandemic.
Yeah. Well, let's see how Harry gets on, how Hazza gets on Saturday, whether he's on good terms with his brother or not.
He's not allowed to wear his uniform, is he?
No.
Like him and Andrew.
Good for that. I think that's a good thing. They shouldn't be allowed to wear it. He's stepped back as a royal, so you can't then pick it up when it suits him.
Don't people who serve in the army wear uniforms anyway?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who knows?
I thought they wore uniforms anyway.
Wow. Obviously, he's been told he's not allowed to for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew, I can understand, but
yeah.
But Harry, maybe not so much. Well, it depends. I don't know what the protocols are.
I don't know either. I'm not that sort of down on royal funerals, to be honest. It's not my expertise. So yeah, we'll just watch and see what goes on. Okay, then let's move on from Philip and the royal family. So this week's National Garden Week. Run into their gardening. Avid.
Hey, I've gardened in the past.
You've been known to garden.
So do you love a bit of gardening, Zoe?
Love might be strong, but I started a vegetable patch and it is a little bit addictive, and I've got veggies popping up everywhere and on my windowsills and seedlings, and it's just something really good to do with the children during the last year. But
so I was just going to ask,
I think I enjoy it a bit more than
they
do.
Was it something you started in lockdown?
Yeah.
Or was it something you did before? Yeah. I've heard so many people that, you know, when you've been stuck at home, so many people have ended up sort of doing a little vegetable patch or starting to get a bit more into their gardening, because it was really, you know, what can we do at home at that point, wasn't it? And then, like you say, especially for the children, giving them something to do, but quite an educational thing to do as well, by, you know, getting them to plant stuff and see how things grow. And yeah, I'm not a gardener at all. I hate it. It's really boring. And my mum and dad are real massive gardeners, and I always think to myself, will I get to like 50 and one day I'll wake up and go, ding, oh my God, I can't wait to garden.
No, exactly that. I can't believe I'm actually sort of saying, oh, me and my life. And I actually check the weather forecast to see about the frost. And I'm like, oh, that's it. I've turned into my mother.
Oh, brilliant. It's funny, isn't it? Beth, what about you? Are you a gardener?
I'm not a gardener at all. My mum is and my grandma is. So I was walking around and I would go, what's that? what's that flower? What's that flower? And they'll be like, oh, that's a so-and-so. And it's like, okay, did you just know that one day? Or if you...
Oh, yeah, my mum's like that. She can literally tell you any plant or any flower. And if she can't, she's got so many, she's like, I'll check my book when I get home and I'll let you know. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, mum. Can't wait for that update. But yeah, I guess maybe it's something when you do get slightly older and you've got more time on your hands. A bit, I suppose, how we all felt in lockdown. You turn to sort of look at what you've got around you and what, you know, it's like as well with lockdown with all the DIY and that. People were doing more bits and bobs at home and making this and making that. So I guess it comes down to when perhaps you've got a bit more time on your hands, maybe. Okay, so we've got a lovely little video to show for a couple of minutes. Beth, are you able to?
She's already got it up.
Got it up. Let us know if you can hear the sound on this.
Today on Urban Gardener, we're headed to a Brooklyn patio garden. This wall is extraordinary. It starts from the floor and goes as high as anybody can reach. Contains all levels of plants, all kinds of blooms. We have vines, even trees. This looks like we have a bunch of different kinds of vines growing up here. They've all been put together in a really interesting way. If you look at this wall long enough, you keep seeing new things that jump out at you, which is really interesting, especially in a small space like this. This is called Nasturtium, but it has these interesting round leaves. It's really beautiful bloom, which is also edible.
This was our rooftop, and for the first 2 years we never used it because it would get too hot. Eventually I was like, I'm gonna bite the bullet and spend the money and build a deck. This wall is aluminum siding, and as you can see, it's really boring. And that's my window right there. That's where we started.
So you made a little bed.
And
you started layering up.
Yes.
And now we have vines everywhere.
This whole thing actually has a lot of purpose. There used to be a couple that sat in that window all the time looking over here. So I wanted to block them. So this is like a privacy wall. This is what I call my rock garden. It reminds me of a quiet corner. I spend hours chiseling holes in that rock.
Oh, wait, you made this with the rock?
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you have everything in here. You're like a garden MacGyver or something like that?
Kind of. I work with small spaces as a living. Every time I'm shopping for clients, I'm shopping for myself. I like to go a lot to vintage shops, garage sales, Salvation Armies. You never know where you can find. And that's where you find all this interesting stuff. It's all about keeping it tight and keeping it organized.
See you next time on Urban Gardener.
Like home and design.
So what did everyone think of that? So I thought that was really quite interesting because we were just talking about some of the things that guy was saying about looking in vintage shops and how he's like kind of started off small and then kind of grown everything. And very interesting that he's talking about finding creative ways to give himself some privacy because he was in a flat and then there was someone across the way who could like...
Yeah, I love that bit where he said, I used to have neighbours who looked over there, because I think we all have that experience. The fences in our sort of gardens seem to get higher and higher, don't they, to block out our neighbours. But I love the way he'd done that with the sort of plants. It was brilliant.
And chiselling that rock.
Yeah.
And like chiselling the hole in there for the plants. I thought that was amazing.
And it really just does go to show, you know, you only need a tiny bit of space, because people think, well, I've got, you know, if I haven't got a big garden, I've only got a small amount of area, there's not a lot I can do. Well, I think that probably shows.
It proves that that's not always accurate.
Definitely.
And we have, I believe, a little garden here.
We do.
And it's not around the back on the lower floor, is it?
No.
It's actually up
on the second floor.
If you can believe such a thing.
Yeah, and it's bare. It's bare. So if we've got anyone watching today who's really into gardening, has got a bit of time on their hands, fancies coming on down to the yard and helping us, what we really want to do is turn that into a really lovely outdoor area for when the better weather comes. And, you know, we could even have one of our tea and toast sessions out in the garden once it's all done, which would be lovely. So, yeah, if you're watching this morning and got fancy doing a bit of gardening with us, please get in touch. You can email us at theyard@communitycourtyard.org, because we'd love to have you come down and give us a hand, because, yeah, like, me and Georgia aren't that good, are we? So we could do with a bit of help.
I might have to rope in like my mum.
Well, I think I'll be asking Zoe to come down and help us by the sounds of it, the little vegetable patch.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think we might need like just a horde of mums to come down and help
I'll get my mum down, get all the mums down, you know what they're doing, and they can write us a list of what needs watering when, and because that's the other thing. We've got a load of plants in our building down here in the yard, and Bianca said yesterday, right, everyone's got to take responsibility for one plant's water. And I'm like, what? I can't. I can look after my kids. I can't look after a house plant. They all die. I forget to water them. I'm so rubbish. But yeah, so yeah, I guess that's it really about the gardening. But yeah, if any of you have got any lovely garden stories, or have seen anything going on within Northampton gardening wise that you'd like to share with us, get in touch, because, you know, we'd love to hear about it.
Oh, and so after this tea and toast, I'm going to be sharing on the yard page our daisy pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone's been sending in their daisy pictures, which is really nice. I said next week, I want everyone to have taken a picture of a daisy, because it's all nice and you know, springy and sunshinery and sunshinery. And yeah, so I need to set a new photography challenge.
Yeah. Ooh.
Like for the next week.
Yeah.
So I reckon by next week, next Wednesday, I want everyone to send in a picture of a tree.
Okay, that's doable. That's an easy one. Everyone sees a tree.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. I hope there's some trees for you all.
Okay, right. The challenge is on there.
A daisy, because I have artificial grass in my garden. So daisies are growing in there. So I have to go.
Did you have to go for an adventure?
I did.
Yeah, my daisy was in my garden, because my grass is normal, so that was quite easy for me. Got a tree in my garden as well, so I might go a bit further. I might go a bit further afield this time, just to, you know, mix it up a bit. So let's move on from gardening then, because we have got Zoe with us from NGAGE, and Zoe's going to tell us a bit about what you do there, and handing over to you, Zoe, if that's okay.
Yeah, now I've took myself off mute. That's helpful. So yeah, I'm the team leader at NGAGE Young People's Team. NGAGE work across Northamptonshire with 11 to 18-year-olds, and we're here for young people who are experiencing difficulties with substance use. So that could be any type of drug, including alcohol. We're free and confidential service for young people. What does that actually mean? Because it's a weird one, isn't it? Free and confidential. Yeah. But when we're working with young people, it's really important that they understand our confidentiality. And because of the nature of the work that we do, that was supposed to be on silent.
All right.
Quite interesting theme tune, funky ringtone.
It's the work mobile, which is just as well, because my personal one's a little bit out there. So,
brilliant.
Going back into confidentiality, I think with regards to substance use and drugs, many young people fear the consequences or the repercussions of being honest about the substance, or the fear of criminality, or maybe being grounded by the parents or carers, or the social worker about to move their placement, all types of issues. So we are confidential. Any young person can talk to us. They can talk to us, be honest with us about the amount or the substance that they are taking. And the only time we will break confidentiality is the safeguarding areas. So if somebody said that they thought they were having difficulties, maybe within themselves, or any type of self-harm thoughts, or were at risk of being harmed by somebody, no one in my team's going to go, oh, well, you just sit there and enjoy those feelings. We will have to act on it. But it's really important that we, do keep the confidentiality around their actual substance use. And then that open and honest relationship does mean that we can look at working with that young person. With regards to the substances, it's any substance really. And I think people think, oh, it's just cannabis, I don't need a drug agency. But actually, over 85% of young people in treatment with us are with us for smoking cannabis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So cannabis is, as I say, I think it's actually at 86% now. And then the other is alcohol. And so these are two drugs that are quite widely discussed, names bandied about, quite easily available, but both actually have really significant impacts for young people.
And I guess with cannabis and alcohol, like you say, it's a lot more widely spoken about and used, and I guess therefore tend to be deemed not a problem as much as if we were talking about perhaps more severe, more sort of severe substances. Is that what tends to happen? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think that's one of the areas that we try to break down with the education, because a more severe substance, actually people don't understand the negative impacts of cannabis. This will not turn on to silence.
Don't worry.
It's fine. It's okay.
But we ran a campaign last year, sort of hashtag It's Only Weed. There's a misconception around cannabis, that cannabis is a natural substance. Once upon a time it was.
We'll all just start doing a little dance every time.
See what's going on there. But yeah, once upon a time it was, but since we've kind of grown cannabis in the UK, it's basically been treated in a science lab, and we've been altering it and changing its chemical balance. And some people might have heard of THC. Yeah.
That's the bit that actually makes you feel high.
Oh, yeah, that's the bit that they try and take out, because that's what CBD is. They've took the THC out of it. That's the bit that gets you high.
Because I use CBD for my joints and muscles and stuff.
I'm not down on all this stuff, so I have no idea.
So there's two main chemicals in cannabis, and one is the THC and one is CBD. So CBD, I mean, there's actually still a lot of research to be done, but it is available for medicinal purposes. To be fair, right now, it's available in hundreds of foods. You can even buy face cream with CBD in it. Yeah. I have no idea if that actually works. I think there's a little bit of branding going on with that. But it is interesting because CBD products have sort of gone off, but I will say it. People, obviously, you could go into any shop pretty much and buy a drink with CBD oil in it. And it's really scary, actually. But at the moment, none of those CBD products are approved by our food standard agency.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So just let that sink in a minute.
Yeah, that's a bit worrying.
It is worrying.
So, because obviously that's how we know, you know, that our food is safe.
Sure, yeah.
So
how are they allowed to do that without it having that sort of certification of being safe?
Well, I was going to say that I know that doctors prescribe CBD products as well. So I imagine that there must have been some trials into it for GPs to be able to prescribe it, I guess, and specialists as well.
Yeah, but food, I was on about the food products with CBD food standards. Some of the CBD has been approved, but the big danger with that is you don't know how much CBD is in the product, and you then can't kind of manage how much you have in, what dosage you have in. They are changing that law, and it is going to be in effect by September this year. But yeah, there's still quite a few months off when you've got all of the products available on the shop shelves.
Definitely. Yeah. So Zoe, at NGAGE, do you find that, do you get young people referred to you by different, you know, would schools make a referral? Do doctors make a referral? How do your clients tend to come to you? Or is it a parent?
All of the above. So young people can refer themselves to us direct, and they can go on via our social media, give us a ring and make a self-referral. We receive referrals from schools, colleges. We receive referrals from any of the community agencies of working with young people, parents, carers, doctors, hospitals, CAMS. We'll take referrals from anywhere, and it is really easy to refer into us as well. The only thing is you can't refer somebody that doesn't consent, so we won't work with somebody who hasn't consented to the referral, because and it is surprising. People do refer young people, and they've never even told the young person that they're making that referral. And obviously,
that's not going to work, is it?
No,
it's not going to work. And I wouldn't want something done to me. So without
having that prior acknowledgement, or at least being asked whether that's something you want to partake in. Definitely. And are you guys busy? Like, is there, if someone was to refer to you, is there a waiting list? Have you got a big team down at NGAGE, or?
Yeah, we've got a team of there's 9 of us across the county. We see a young person, or at least make contact within 2 working days.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
Wow, it's really quick.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. And it's important, because if you make the big step to think, I'm ready to talk to somebody about this, then you can't just then wait 6 months.
Well, you don't then want to lose that opportunity of getting that engagement with that young person, do you? And especially, young people, it's bad enough as like an adult. You think, 6 months to wait for that, but they can't be waiting that sort of amount of time, can they? They need that help immediately, really. God, that's brilliant. Has anyone got any other questions for Zoe?
So how do people get in touch? Is there like a phone number, website, email?
So all of the above. As I said, our social media, which is NGAGE with Aquarius, and that's on Facebook, Insta, and the YouTube. Literally, as you can see, NGAGE with Aquarius. So you can contact us anyway, that way, if you're a young person wanting to contact. Our phone number is Northampton 01604 633 848. Probably type that in the chat for anyone.
Yeah.
And I would say that would be the easiest way for people. We do have a website and secure email addresses, etc., but they're really for professionals to contact us.
Yeah. So if we had someone watching us right now who had a young person or is a young person themselves felt like that they could really do with accessing your services, the best thing would be to give you a call, would it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got Fiona, our lovely administrator. She's lovely. She'll take your information, and then one of either myself or one of the team will give you a ring and book an appointment. And it's important to know that I think a lot of people get scared or worried and think drugs workers are like going to be some kind of scary doctor or something. This is us, this is what we are. We're people. We're all youth workers. We're all trained, and we'll just meet you in a place that you feel comfortable and have a conversation with you around what your need is. We also do not push abstinence, so we currently don't have the text. I would message on the social media.
Cool. Yeah. I guess because maybe, like some young people, they're not confident on the phone, and perhaps especially for this, it's easy to drop you a message via email or like you say on your social media. It might work better for them, mightn't it?
Yeah. The difficulty with text, we've looked at that, but we don't want, what's important is we're not a 24-hour service. So, we're predominantly office hours. We move about a little bit, but it's office hours. So we don't want anybody to message us at midnight and in need and us not being able to get back to them.
Oh yeah, definitely. So with COVID and everything, are you back able to having those sort of face-to-face appointments with people? Is that all back to normal now, or?
Normal.
It's normal anymore, I guess. Really, but well, this is it.
Yeah, we're back out seeing young people in the community. The difference is we have to wear the PPE. So we are wearing masks. But we're back out in schools and community settings, and it's great. It's great. We still have to do a little bit of Zoom or whatever, but predominantly.
Yeah, I bet for you guys doing that sort of job, it's so good for you being back, actually being face to face, because it's just, I think for this sort of topic, this subject, it's more of a personal thing, and it always can feel quite unpersonal via Zoom and stuff, can't it? So I know a lot of people who work with young people, and we do here at the yard, getting back out, seeing our young people and having that sort of interaction with them is sort of everything, because it feels like it's been quite a while, doesn't it?
No, it's been really good to get back out. Although, interestingly, I've got a client myself who doesn't want to see me face to face, wants to remain doing telephone, because they find that easier than actually having to keep eye contact and things. So, I think throughout all of this, we've all learned how to be really flexible, and that's that's the thing as well. So we'll work with a young person however they want to be seen moving forward.
Absolutely. I mean, we was having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I said, actually, out of all the terrible things about this pandemic, one of the best things that's come out of it is that we've all had to learn to adapt our businesses and the way we work. And that's got to be one of the pluses to come out of this, because we're now doing things that we never thought would be possible to do our business and do the way we work. And actually it can work. So if we're going to take any pluses from this, and there's not many, is there? Let's be real, but that's got to be one, that we've all started to try new things and adapt and do things slightly different, which sometimes, like you say, works better for some clients than how it originally was. So yeah, brilliant. Oh, well, thanks ever so much for coming to join us this morning, Zoe. It's been really interesting hearing about you guys at NGAGE. Whereabouts are you in Northampton anyway, just out of interest?
So we've got an office on St Giles Street.
Just up the road from us,
down the end towards the church. But as I said, we're an area-based team, so the team's out in all of the locations. So we'll go out and see young people.
Brilliant.
Wherever.
Wherever they are, fantastic. Excellent. Well, it's been so great you coming on to join us this morning. And I was chatting to Zoe just before we came online, and obviously with our tea and toast sessions, we've been doing them via StreamYard and whatnot because of the COVID pandemic. But as our roadmap is easing and we're moving out, we will be having these sessions on live at the yard. And they're going to be every morning, Tuesday to Friday, when it's just going to be a drop-in. And like we said to Zoe, anyone that's coming on, like pop down and see us. We're 62 Gold Street. And yeah, God, I don't even know where I am at the minute. I'm all over the shop. I'm at home, I'm at work, I'm at this. We're 62 Gold Street. And yeah, Zoe, if any of you and your team want to pop down and come and have, and we may have some young people come in who we can actually sort of signpost to you guys, because we work with a whole different range of young people and young adults. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been really, really interesting hearing about what you guys do, and it sounds like you're doing a really, really brilliant job. Another great organisation in Northampton that I actually didn't know a lot about, but I'm really pleased that you came and told us all about you. So thank you.
You're welcome. Look forward to popping in, and we can bring some of our education bits as well. And,
we'd love that.
You can make that face to face. We can make it a little bit more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. And we've always got the kettle on here, so anyone is welcome whenever.
Right,
so yeah, you're down. I might even make you a slice of toast. All right. Well, I've really enjoyed our chat this morning, ladies. Thank you ever so much. Have a great day. If you are around later, have we got afternoon today?
Yes, I believe. Sophia is over on the other side of the room. She gives us two thumbs up and a hand wave.
Yeah.
So yes, there is afternoon at 3 o'clock. Yes, another. And so
join us for that if you're around. That's online, and don't forget we'll be back tomorrow morning doing another tea and toast, talking about a whole different range of things going on, but probably COVID will be in there again, because
and if you're a gamer, remember at 12 o'clock till 1 o'clock you can catch Steve on our Twitch and on Facebook. He'll be streaming Star Wars: The Old Republic. So if you're a Star Wars fan, you might want to get involved, and he'll give you a shout out. If you say, "Hey Steve," he'll say, "Hey Janet." So
because I'm sure Janet's going to be going on Twitch to play Star Wars, isn't she?
Yeah, good old Jan.
Oh, Janet. See you later, Janet. Right, ladies, let's end it on that note before we all go a little bit delirious. I think we need coffee. Okay, right. Thank you, guys. Great to see you all, and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.